Yeah.
Sure. Hello everyone, Dr. Tyus.
Sure.
This is the history of Megadeth. Megadeth, the actual word, means 1 million deaths in nuclear holocaust, but the band decided to be different and dropped the A. They're a thrash metal band, which is a type of heavy metal where the pace is more upbeat and aggressive, much faster. And this band in particular likes to make fun of Metallica and say that they play slower. And the main reason for this is Megadeth's founder was Dave Mustaine, who actually used to be in Metallica and wrote several other songs and does vocals and is a guitar player. And he got kicked out because of alcohol, drugs, and just not getting along with the other band members. So in 1983, he decided to form Megadeth with the bassist Dave Ellefson. And for 2 years, they tried to find suitable people to play drums and backup guitar. And they eventually did this and released their first studio album in 1985. This album was real low budget because they were on a small record deal and only got $80,000 to make the album and like food expenses and the other miscellaneous illegal things that people like to do. From then on out, they have been extremely active for the next 28 years. As you can see, there's their 1983. It's the first album that they actually made, which is Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good. And that was in 1985. So for the next 28 years, they released 13 more studio albums, with 5 going platinum or multi-platinum, and they have 10 Grammy nominations. This spans all the way to present because they just released their last album in 2001 and they're currently on tour. One of their first gigs was actually pre-performance for Alice Cooper Band. But after a couple performances, they were kicked out because Alice Cooper thought they went too hard. He thought that they did too many drugs and abused alcohol too much, so he just didn't want them around. For the next album, they started with this low-budget company, but then moved up to a higher recording studio to get more money. And this album was called Peace Sells, But Who's Buying? And this was in 1986. At around this time, they actually evicted band members Chris Poland and Gar Samuelson because Samuelson had a long history with alcohol abuse and sadly died in 1999 from liver failure. Then they ejected Chris Poland, who was a backup guitarist, because he was actually selling band equipment to pay for his drug addiction. And so after he got out of the band, he actually went to a drug rehab and got clean, and is clean to this day. From this point on, they cycled through many band members to try to get the right fit, and some of them worked, some of them didn't, but they still put out good music, as you can tell from the history I told you a little bit ago. One funny story was, in the early 90s, Dave Mustaine, who liked his alcohol and liked his drugs, actually got arrested for alcohol-related incidents, and was forced by the police to go to AA. He cleverly found out, though, that they didn't actually check who signed up to go to the AA meetings. So he convinced his bassist, Dave Ellefson, who was a co-founder of the band, to go to the meetings for him. It was at this point that Ellefson actually decided to become clean, and Mustaine's AA brought him on the right track where he is clean today. In 1992, they signed with Enterprise Studios, which is a big recording label. And Enterprise forced them to go to more, not mainstream music, but playable on the radio. They made them have the songs shorter, less complicated, and radio-friendly, so mothers could let their young kids listen to the music. At this point, they also started doing many collaborations with other people, partly because, as you can see, there is a decline in popularity of Megadeth. So in order to spike that popularity back up, they started performing with other bands on tours around the world, around the country, pretty much anywhere you can think of. About this time, too, the lead guitarist and founder, Dave Mustaine, actually had to go to the hospital for kidney stones. While he was there, he fell asleep in a chair and left his arm draped over it, and the chair actually cut off the circulation in his arm. And this led to atrophying and causing not permanent but severe nerve damage. From this point on, he realized he couldn't play guitar, so he dismembered the band and went into rehab, which wasn't new to him because he's been to 10 different drug and rehab places, but this one was actually for physical needs. And after 2 years, he finally regained the skill to be one of the best guitarists in the world and refounded the band. This caused a lot of controversy, though, because the other founder, Dave Ellefson, thought that Mustaine left the band to him and actually ended up suing him for dismembering the band. And he also sued him for other allegations of not giving him his cut of memorabilia sales and things like that. But now the band's back together and everyone's as happy-go-lucky as a death metal band can be. In the present time, they just released one of their last studio albums in 2011, and it did pretty well. It actually went platinum. But also around this time, the lead guitarist, Dave Mustaine, became a born-again Christian, which, as you know, finding Christ can kind of complicate things for people whose music had disturbing things in it. And now he refuses to sing some of their songs from their earlier works. They also refused to play at certain things in certain concerts in Greece and Israel because some of the bands that they were playing along with had anti-Christian themes and lyrics, and they didn't want to be a part of that because when you're Christian, that's not good. So this was the history of Megadeth, and I hope you all enjoy it. They're a really good band. My favorite song is Trust, but you should go on YouTube and find out what your guys' favorite songs are. You'd really enjoy it. That's all.